last week, I had a brain exam. Let that sink in for a second. I know in your mind, you're probably thinking I had all different probes on my head. There was probably an MRI machine involved, but that wasn't the case. What happened was exactly what's happening right now. My doctor watched me move, watched how I talked, had me do exercises, and observed me. What's the problem with that? Over 50% of neurology exams happen by observation alone. This is a big problem when you can't repeat the same exam twice. So when I went to my neurologist last week, she wrote down a lot of pages of notes, 3 pages to be exact, back and front, because I watched her do it during our consultation. And I was sitting there and I was wondering, how are we going to put that in the computer? How are we going to get information on what's happening with my body and my brain? And the reason I asked that is because I live with multiple sclerosis, and I've been living with it for 12 years. The wild part about that is that I've been misdiagnosed twice. And even last week, my new neurologist was asking, are you sure you have multiple sclerosis? Did they check this? Did they check that? That's a problem in 2023 when we have the tools and technology we need to ensure that people get access to brain health. One of the reasons why this stands out for me as well is that I'm a data professional. So every time I go to the doctor, I'm always wondering, where's the data? Where's the measurements? How are we taking that qualitative data that you've written on three pages back and front and putting it into something that can actually equate to real actionable information? The reality is we don't currently have that. That's why OraSense is bringing to you all an effective solution that can help folks in the area of clinical trials. Why clinical trials? I'm not saying in a way that we're putting our device through clinical trials, but there are drugs that are going through clinical trials right now for brain health. And they're not passing, not because they're not safe, but because they're deemed ineffective. Our tool that we have is meant to ensure that we are able to capture the data at the beginning. So imagine with what I said earlier, with those drugs that are happening. Imagine if a neuro is doing that exam on a drug at the beginning of that, and then they're doing the same exam at the end. How do we know what happened and how do we know if that data is right? OraSense has that solution, and we want to bring to you something that I think is really cool. So we're going to take those observational exams that you see on the right side of the screen and ensure that individuals can take those things and put it into an automated AI-assisted powered exam. So imagine instead of you just watching me here today, I'm in front of a device that can watch how I move, watch how I interact, and capture all that data. This is done using novel technology such as AI, mid-air haptics, and technologies that didn't exist even 10 to 20 years ago. We have technologies now that can change lives and ensure that we get the drugs that are safe and effective on the market to the consumer. So who is our target profile? We're going after companies that are in the pharmaceutical industry. Over the next 3 years, there's going to be 1,000 trials that are happening with different brain disorders. For folks experiencing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, multiple sclerosis, these are people who are going to need access to drugs. And if we look around the room, I'm sure everyone knows someone that's dealing with this. And these brain disorders are only increasing. So who is our competition? There are people who are offering services as well as different devices to track what is happening in this field. But our device is the only one that has a comprehensive ability to capture all that data in one place at one time during one exam in a very quick way. I'm excited to say that we are the solution for this problem. So our way to make money is through software as a service. We'll charge a subscription for each of those AI-empowered kiosks that you saw earlier. The beauty of that is that for clinical trials, it costs $40,000 per person on average for a person to go through a clinical trial. Our device is only a $180 subscription a month per patient. So we're saving the company a lot of money, and we're also making a lot of money while we're doing it. Our hope is that we'll have $30 million with 300 trials in the next 3 years. But the thing is, we're not going to stop there. So although we're starting with clinical trials, because this is a space where we don't need FDA regulation and we can get pretty quickly into that market, we do eventually want to get into neurology education. There's a lack of neurologists in the current market, so we want to help them to be able to get educated in this space. And eventually, we want these in the homes of all people who are dealing with brain disorders so we can help them care in place and have the tools and data they need to get the services that they need. This market is continuing to grow, and we're looking to attack the $2 billion market related to clinical trials. So these are our founders. We have a mix of people who are passionate, who are experts in data, engineers, and things like that. You also have me. My initials are AI. Don't forget it. My parents did well by that. But we're super excited to bring along people who are really passionate about this and who are ready to get the job done. Our progress over the last year has been great. So we incorporated in November of last year, and since then, we've filed 3 provisional patents. We've been able to create our prototype here at mHUB. Please come see our demo table so you can see our cool device and touch sound. Come see what I mean so you can check that out. But we want to make sure that we are showing that we are a company that's growing and growing very quickly. We're on the road to raise $1.5 million. Even in the last 2 weeks, we just secured another $350,000. Give us a little clap for that. And we're excited to use that along with new partners to get our product developed this fall in order to go into clinical trials next year. So really excited about that. So I want to leave you with one thing. Observation alone is not enough, even right here as you are observing me. So I invite you all to take action, meet me at my demo table, and learn more about the great work that OraSense is doing. Thank you all.